Dog is, she like really wants me to pay attention to her. Get down! What I want to tell you guys about is my adoption story. For those of you that don't know, I was adopted. I am adopted. And I wanted to tell you guys about kind of like how that happened, my experience, my past family, and stuff like that. So, I have a younger sister. We're 13 months apart, and I have an older brother, and we are 2 years apart. We all have the same mom and dad. So basically, my mom and dad, they just, when I was growing up, or when we were born, suffered from a lot of like addiction issues and some mental issues, I think, that, you know, they couldn't really work out and get through, even with like the state giving them opportunity after opportunity to kind of like fix things and stuff. So the state did end up taking us away. I was 1.5, I want to say, when I was taken away and put into foster care. My sister was just a few months old, and my brother had already been in and out of the foster care system for a while, for some years. So yeah, we ended up in a foster home. I still have some little memories. I was there until I was 3. I don't really know if I have memories per se, or if people just have told me things along the line and I kind of like remember what it is that people have told me. Over the years, until my foster mom passed away, I did actually keep in contact with her, and I still keep in contact with a lot of people like via Facebook and stuff that were in my life during you know, that time period. So I was in a foster home until I was 3. My sister was 2, my brother was 5. We all ended up in the same foster home, and then there's a thing here in the town that I live in, and I think it's called Thursday's Child, I want to say. Basically what it is every Thursday on the nightly news, they had like a little 15-minute segment where they featured some kids in the adoption or the foster care system that were waiting for families. And they featured me, my sister, and my brother in this video, and they had us in the children's museum, and they had like little segments of each of us talking, and like how to get in contact with whoever to adopt us, blah, blah, blah. So, my mom and dad now, they had an adoption agent, I want to say, I guess, that was trying to like link them up with a kid. What was on all of their original paperwork, this is actually kind of the cool part of the story, what was on their original paperwork was for them to have one baby. They wanted one infant. That's what they had put their paperwork in for and gotten approved for and were waiting on. But their agent saw our Thursday's Child segment and was like, they are perfect for them, and just had a feeling. So she called my mom and dad and told them to watch it. And I guess she had seen that we were going to be on there beforehand or something, because my mom and dad, or my mom, I want to say, watched it and filmed it, like recorded it, and my dad watched it when he got home. So they watched it, and this couple that wanted one infant fell completely in love in a little 15-minute segment with all 3 of us, me, my sister, and my brother, which, if you know anything about adoption, you know anything about the foster care system, a lot of the times sisters and brothers do not get to stay together. So they fell in love with all 3 of us, and they were like, this is it, this is who we're supposed to have. They just had that feeling, they prayed on it, they knew. My mom cried and the whole 9 yards. Then they tried to start the process of actually getting us, and they ended up getting denied because their paperwork was for 1 infant, and now they were requesting 3 children. So they redid their paperwork and they got approved. And I remember during that process of them doing, I don't remember, but I know during that process of them doing their paperwork and stuff, they came to the foster home quite a few times to visit us, and they brought us stuff, and you know, spent time with us and stuff. And then you know, eventually once we got approved and the whole thing was finalized, they came and picked us up. And I'll never forget the stories and stuff that I've heard about this day, because me, my brother, and my sister, we were kind of like so connected with our foster family. Like, our foster mom and our foster dad loved us as if we really were their own children. And my sister slept in their room, and I, you know, like, we really were just so connected to them. So it was really, really hard, I think, for them to let us go. I think that they were kind of trying to figure out a way that they could get us adopted somewhere else so that we could still be a part of their lives. And that didn't end up working out. So obviously, you know, we got adopted out to my mom and dad now. So, you know, we all kind of got in the car, and I think we kind of started to realize that, like, we were just, like, we were leaving. We weren't, like, it wasn't like a visit or whatever. And I remember I was crying in the car. I don't know why exactly I was crying, but my mom or my dad was like, hey, Cameo, stop crying. We're gonna go get chicken nuggets and french fries from McDonald's. And that was like my one true love. So I stopped crying, got my little chicken nuggets and french fries. My brother, his diet basically consisted of, this is what they tell us, his diet basically consisted of peanut butter and bananas, like a little monkey. And I hated vegetables. I probably had never eaten a vegetable yet per the chicken nuggets and french fries. And I don't know what my sister was doing, but yeah, so we started out the chicken nuggets and french fries, blah blah blah. So anyways, I was adopted out to my mom and dad now, and I feel as though they have always been my mom and dad. They were supposed to be my mom and dad. I was put on this earth for them to be my mom and dad, and for me to be their daughter and my sister and my brother. And I feel like that was just all kind of a part of the plan. Growing up was pretty great. My mom and my dad unfortunately did end up divorcing when I was young. My dad was a dentist, or is a dentist. He ended up moving to North Carolina. So we did kind of like the whole back and forth from state thing when we were growing up, which was kind of hard. We'd spend like summers with him, and like switch off holidays and stuff like that. Some of that was kind of hard just because we were manipulative little children, and we would kind of try and play them against each other, and I feel like they kind of didn't realize that that's what we were doing, so they let us, and so it created problems with them, and really we were just hurting ourselves by doing that. So that was kind of hard. It was kind of hard, like, having someone that, me especially, I was really a daddy's girl, that I was so connected to and really, really, really loved and looked up to, not being able to talk to him as much, see him as much, and like, especially with him being in another state, watching all of my friends get to have all of that. And, you know, regardless of if their mom and dad were divorced or not, their dad probably didn't live in another state, you know, so they were like with their dads every other weekend, so on and so forth. That was kind of hard for me growing up. And now that I look back on the situation, even I have the most admiration and respect for my mother, because she then was a single mom of 3 kids, just like that. And I have no idea how she did that. And she was a single mom of 3 kids through our teenage years, the whole 9 yards. And yeah, she only just got remarried to the love of her life, the most awesome man in the whole entire world. Her husband, like, I don't know how many years ago, after I had J. Marie, so like 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. So anyways, yeah, she did the whole single mom thing, and I honestly just don't know how she did it with all of the problems that me and my brother and my sister had, like just behavioral problems and stuff like that growing up. She prevailed, and she taught us all types of lessons, my dad too, and you know, made us into the people that we are today, and made me the strong mother that I am today. A few years ago, I did start, I think I was like 19 or 20. It was before I got pregnant with J. Marie. So I was like 18, 19. We started the process. We actually had to wait until one of us was 18 to start the process of getting in contact with our birth parents. I don't think they were really allowed to contact us before then. So it was kind of strange because we and my dad's side of the family have started the process at the same time, finding each other, which was kind of interesting. So like, they found us on Facebook, we started talking, realizing who they were, we started writing back and forth to my birth mom, and we ended up going up to Cincinnati, which is only like an hour and a half from where I live, to meet my birth dad and his side of the family. Yeah, this was when I was 19, so meeting them, they are awesome. I still have all of them on my Facebook. I talk to them. I love them so much. I don't get to see them that much besides on social media stuff like Facebook and stuff, but they're incredible people. I got to know my birth dad a little bit. I actually got to see him twice, so 3 years ago, I want to say. Yeah, my birth dad actually ended up dying, so we went up there for his funeral and stuff like that. And I feel like it was kind of good knowing that, well, it was incredible knowing that I at least got the opportunity to meet him and to get to know him and get a feel for him before he died. And I feel like that was all a part of the plan and the timing and stuff of everything, and I'll always have that memory with me. I have pictures with me and stuff. Yeah, but I remember one of the weirdest parts of going up there was to look around and see people that looked like me, because I've never had that. Besides my sister and my brother, obviously there's no one in my family, my mom's side of the family, my dad's side of the family, that is my family, that looks anything like me. So it was weird. It was so weird. I have sisters, guys. I have older sisters that I love so much, and literally I'll look at their pictures and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I really look like this person. And that's just the weirdest thing to me. Up until I was 18, 19 years old, I had never had that besides my sister and my brother. So that was really cool. I ended communications with my birth mom for some reasons. I don't know. I feel like she just still has a lot going on in her life and hasn't really changed very much, which is kind of disappointing for me. Hasn't really changed very much from the reasons that I wasn't allowed to, be a part of her life, that I got taken away in the first place. So that was kind of disappointing to me. But I just kind of had to sit with that and realize that just gives more purpose and more reason as to why I ended up where it is that I was supposed to be, which was with my mom and dad, and made me grateful of the life that I have and grateful of the opportunities and stuff that I have, because who's to say that I would or would not have had those. When it comes to like being a kid that is adopted, there's some issues that kind of like you associate with children that are adopted. Some of those are like abandonment problems, kind of like self-respect problems, relationship problems, stuff like that. I have seen some of that stuff kind of play out in my life. Even though I was so young and I don't necessarily remember all of that, I feel like some of this actually affects my brother a little bit more, because he was older and he has like actual memories of us when we were in custody of my mom and my dad, my birth mom and my birth dad, but I don't have any memories of that. But I feel like sometimes I've just kind of gone through life and accepted less for myself, just because I feel like I am undeserving of things. And I don't really know if that necessarily stems from me being adopted, but that's definitely been a problem. And I've definitely had abandonment problems when it comes to men, especially. I think one, because obviously it started with my birth dad, and I felt like, obviously I feel like he kind of abandoned me and didn't do what it is that everything that he could have done to keep us in his life, or maybe he did, I don't know, but that. And then of course my mom and my dad separated, and me being the one out of the three of us that was probably the closest to my dad, and him moving and me not hearing from him as much, obviously because he's in a completely other state and I can't see him, and he's busy and working, and I don't just get to see him at the end of the day before I go to bed, blah, blah, like I used to, and him getting remarried and stuff like that. I think I just kind of felt kind of abandoned from him as well. So I've kind of dealt with some of those problems throughout my life, where I kind of just like push people to the point where literally they abandon me, but I have caused the abandonment because I've pushed. So some stuff like that, but I'm getting through it, and I think it's a blessing that I have been able to learn those things about myself and then be able to work on them, because I think sometimes people have problems within themselves that they don't even search, explore, figure out their whole lives, and then they just go through their whole lives missing out on things or ruining things because they don't look at themselves. So I'm blessed in that sense. But yeah, I'm grateful to be adopted. I'm proud of it. I am so glad that I got the opportunity to meet and explore my birth family. I think that that was an important part for me. I don't know if that's important for everyone depending on like what you've been through, but that was an important part for me, and I'm lucky to still know them, my dad's side of the family and stuff, and I love them so much. And yeah, I don't know. If you guys have been adopted too, let me know down below. Give me a little story. So yeah, maybe you learned something about me. Maybe you learned something about yourself. All right. I love you guys so much. See you in my next video. Bye.